Okay, so good afternoon, everyone. Anthony, I was calling Anthony, Jose, Ana Martinez, Noelia. I need to see your faces in camera, please. Please, that is like mandatory. If you're in class, I should be able to see you and to listen to you, okay? So, welcome back again. I asked you to do something for me, right? And usually, at the very beginning of my class, I check if my students did it or not. And it was a very simple question. What did you do yesterday? So tell me, what did you do yesterday? But we're not talking about yesterday, but the day before yesterday, right? Because this is something I asked you yesterday. So I would like to check out your different ideas. So what happened in your life the day before yesterday? And this is Noelia's. So tell me, Noelia, what did you do? This is very simple. Very simple. We're not talking about anyone we don't know. We're talking about yourself.
Yeah,
Okay.
but I don't know if you already read what I said.
No?
Well, I said that I was taking care of my mom because she broke both of her ankles. So
Okay.
I have to take care of her. And that's every day. So every
Okay.
day I'm doing that. Every day we just watch Grey's Anatomy and stay in bed.
And you
That's all
take
we do.
care of her. Okay. That's nice. That's nice. Helping your mom. Okay. That's being a good mom, a good daughter. Good.
Yeah.
Good. Okay. So this is what you did yesterday. Is that your dog?
Yeah, that's my dog. She stay in bed when we're just the two of us. Two of
Okay.
us.
Good. Good. Sometimes I get a little bit bored. It happens. Okay.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
Thank you, Noelia. Thanks for sharing what you did yesterday and the day before yesterday. And this is something you're doing almost every day, but this is something really interesting. So thanks for sharing. Anybody else? Do I have any other volunteers? This is Noelia's. That was Andres. Sabrina, nice. This is Dana. Good. This is Angie. Maria Jose, and this is Andres. Okay. Johanna. Good. Alexander. Okay. Sonia, this is nice. Fausto. So Sonia, tell us about your day. Why do you have like this background? A fish, it looks like a fish tank. Sonia? Why do you place a fish tank and a fish at the bottom of the picture? Sonia? Okay, I think she's not here. Fausto, so tell us about your day. What did you do?
What did you do?
Yes.
Hi. I mean, my homework is put in the actual shower.
Okay, you took a shower.
The second, I working. I went to work in the office. See?
Okay.
And 12 p.m. Uh, to eat the lunch
Okay.
at the lunch. And just at the 3 p.m. I with my boss
Okay.
meet meet.
You had a
So,
meeting. Okay. A meeting.
meeting, right?
Good.
Mhm.
Good. Thank you,
That's it.
Fausto.
Finish in the homework.
Okay, thank you so much. So according to Fausto, he was working, right? So you were working, then he had some work activities with co-workers, and then he went training. That's nice. At the end, he finished all his work activities at 5 p.m. Very good. Andres, what about you? Andresito Moran, tell us about your day. What did you do yesterday? Or the day before yesterday?
Then yesterday
Uh-huh.
I worked, and when I started the day,
Mm-hmm.
the first mm,
Mm-hmm.
the activity.
Okay.
First I work in the morning, and then I watched Zombie series. Finally I ate, and then went to sleep.
What did you eat last night?
Last night I
You
ate rice with fish.
Okay. Okay. Fish and rice. And then you
Fish
went
and rice and salad.
and salad. Okay, good. And then you went back to sleep. Good. Thank you, Andres. Very simple, right? This is not like, oh, this is difficult. Just what you did yesterday. But I just don't, I don't really want you to read. I want you just to tell me. Let's think of this like a little story, like you're telling me a story about your life. Okay, anybody else? Any other volunteers? Charlene, how was your day? Can you tell us about your day, the day before? What did you do? Charlene? Any other volunteers? Angie?
Yesterday,
Yesterday.
the first I woke up at
Okay.
8 a.m.
All
I
right.
had breakfast alone because my parents go to work
Okay.
and my brothers go to the soccer coach. Then I practice English 2 hours. I draw my favorite character, what series, while I listen to music.
Okay.
Later, I cook for the lunch, cleaning of my dishes for the lunch, and I went my room and I saw my laptop animate series
Okay.
at the end of the day.
Okay. And that happened at the end of the day, and then you went back to sleep. Very nice, right? This is how these connectors, this is how they help you to connect the different ideas, right? The different parts of the day, the different activities you were doing. So first, everybody wakes up in the morning, right? So that's what you were explaining. Then you had breakfast, then you had to make lunch. Later, maybe you had to do some assignments or some homework from college. And then finally, at the end of the day, you had something to eat and then you went back to sleep. Very easy. This is what I want you to try. Anybody else? Do I have any volunteers? Would you like to tell me what did you do yesterday? Because I have
I
some,
can read.
of course. Who is it? Let me see.
Yesterday, I like every day, I got up at 5 in the morning because my children go to school early. At lunch time, I ate with my husband. I worked a lot because I went to the agency office in Cuenca for meeting with new people. When I got home, I cooked dinner for my family. Finally, I went to bed very tired.
Good. Thank you, Daniela. Thank you so much. So that was Daniela's day. Anybody else? Maria Luisa, would you like to tell us about your day? Maybe?
My name is
Oh, Lisbeth, go ahead. Okay, this was
yes.
Daniela. Okay.
Okay. Yesterday at first in the morning, I went shopping at my commissariato, and then I came to my house to organize the purchase I made.
Okay.
And later in the afternoon,
Mhm.
I went to the Go Rio Centro Savings and at the bank. And
Okay.
finally, I went to a dental
Appointment.
apposicionamiento, una consulta.
Uh-huh. Dental appointment is when you have to see, I mean, you have to go to the doctor or maybe the dentist and they have to check. I mean, how is your teeth going? Or maybe if you have a dental appointment, this is when you go to the dentist. Good, good.
Yes, miss. Thank
Okay,
you.
so very, very simple, but this is a way of, I want you to practice. And what a better way to practice than telling me something about you, right? This was Charlene. This is, oh, Charlene, these are your drawings. Do you
Yeah.
know? Beautiful. So you really have a talent. Really nice. So do you like animated series? This is animes, right? Oh, how do you call this?
Thank you.
Concept art. Can you describe it? What is it about?
Yeah,
Concept art.
it's
Uh-huh.
about to. Yeah, concept art is the present two characters in the different clothes.
Mhm.
The time is the country. Ay, ¿cómo se pronuncia este país? I
Which
forgot.
country? An ancient country. No, Japan, China.
No, it's not China. Ay, ¿cómo se pronuncia Grecia?
Oh, Greece. Greece.
Yeah, Greece.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Greece. Like this. All right, this is Grecia. Greece. Okay, very nice. Very
Two.
interesting.
Okay.
Mhm.
Yeah. Two characters different. Yeah.
Very, very talented.
Two characters different. The one. Thank you.
Okay, good. Mercy, tell us about your day. What did you do? I like the background. What did you do yesterday? Mercy.
Yesterday,
Uh-huh.
in the morning, I went to a mother house
Mhm.
and I went with my friends to a coffee shop.
Okay.
Later, went to a cinema.
Okay. Which movie did you watch?
Kung Fu Panda.
Oh, nice, Kung Fu Panda. I watched it already. It's really nice.
Yes.
Funny. That's nice. Thank you. Thank you so much. Maria Jose, would you like to tell us about your day? Maria Jose? Because I have this here, but I don't know if you're there. Oh, there you are. So you can tell us.
In the morning, I went for a run with my dog in the park in front of my house. Then I went out with a friend to the mall who bought her graduation dress.
Okay.
Finally, when I went out with my boyfriend to dinner at Plaza Lagos.
Oh, nice. What is your favorite restaurant at Plaza Lagos? What's the name of the place? Because usually you have like a place you usually go, right? And you like going. Can you remember the name of the place?
I don't know, remember the name.
Okay. What kind of food is your favorite? What is your favorite type of food when you go out? No? Okay. Andres. Hi, Andres. I have two Andres, Jose Andres, and Andres Lubar, right? So Andres Lubar, tell us about your day. How was it?
Today or before
Yesterday.
yesterday?
Uh-huh.
Yesterday or before yesterday?
The day before yesterday. Yeah.
Okay.
So,
Before yesterday, I will work all the day in my office.
mhm,
I got a lot of documents, papers
mhm.
to, no sé si reorganizar.
Oh, like at the end of the month when you have to close like everything, but this is not the end of the month. Oh, because today is the 5th.
Yes, yes.
Okay, so you had a lot of work.
Yes. Reorganization of
Mhm.
the archives,
Okay, the files. Okay,
some files, please.
okay, good, good.
Then in the night, I went to sleep when I get home.
Okay, good, good. So this is how you're using past tense. You're saying yesterday I was working all day, then in the night I went to sleep because we're talking about the past. Okay. Learning a language is not, it doesn't really make any sense if we are not using the language to some specific purpose. Okay. I mean, that's my idea about learning a language. If you're learning a language just to memorize the words, it is a waste of time. Okay. When you're learning, it should have a meaning. It should have a purpose, an objective. And this is what I want you to try. Okay. So I'm really thankful and I really appreciate the time you have taken to add the different pictures to Alexander. He wrote sentences. Okay. I wanted to be not just like sentences, but to make it like a paragraph. But you have been able to use connectors, okay, to organize your ideas, to explain and to describe your life, okay? Like everybody else, we work, we had things to do, and we are using the language to talk about our lives, okay? Daniela, thank you so much. I mean, I really appreciated the time, okay, and the effort. So if you did not do it, you still can do it, but this is where it is. So I was able to ask you to share. Maybe if there was not too much space on one slide, you could divide it, split it in two, and then use the space to describe your day. This is Anna's. So thank you so much. Now, let me share again. Let me show you my slides, because this is something we are using every class. And this is today's slides. It's actually the same file. So I'm gonna share it again on the chat. Let me share the link again. So if you need to join, if we have to write something, if we have to collaborate or help each other on the practices, we can do it, okay? So this is week number 4 again. This is what we were talking about yesterday. We talked about holidays, and then we talk about past simple and the different ways we have to write, I mean, regular verbs and irregular verbs. And we practice on this. And then I think we did a little reading activity. This is like workbook activities, but this was a way of reinforcing past tense. Now, talking about descriptions and talking about past tense. Can you describe, I want you, let's go back. I think, when did this happen? I think it was 2 years ago, right? It's 2024. And I think this happened in 2022, right? What was happening on the picture? When was it taken? And why? What can you see in the picture? What people were doing right at the moment? What was happening? Anyone?
Argentina win.
Celebrate the
That
championship.
one.
The
It
Argentina.
was celebration.
They were celebrating. They won the world championship, right? So they're like the world champions in soccer, right? So can you please, thank you. This is what I was about to ask you. Can you please write down all the ideas coming to your mind about what is it happening? What were they doing? So they were celebrating. What else? But let's use past tense, not present. Okay. So if I want to, because this is something that already happened 2 years ago. It's not something that is happening right now. So we should say that people were celebrating, right? Because they're not celebrating now. It happened in 2022, right? Messi looks happy, very happy, right? So we're not gonna say that people is singing, people were singing, right? Because this is past tense. People were singing, they were celebrating. What else? Messi was grabbing what? What is this big piece of gold? Beautiful, right? It's like an award, right? That only if you become champion, the whole team can get to grab the World Cup. That's how you call it. So Messi was grabbing the World Cup. Okay. We are not going to say that Messi is happy. If we're talking about the past, Messi was happy, right? He was really happy. Is there any other words we can use to say that he was happy? Maybe he was crying. Do you think he cried? Thank you so much. That was just the first picture. I'll show you another picture. This is just the first one. So they were singing. Messi was very happy. They won the game, of course. It was hard, right? To win the match. The team won the World Cup. Okay. We're not gonna say that they are happy. They were happy because they won the World Cup. Thank you, Yvette. Okay. Is people celebrating or they were celebrating, right? Because this is not happening now. Good. Messi was grabbing the cup. Past time, right? So we're using past. Are they champions or they became champions? They were champions. They were happy. Okay, so that's only the first picture. I'm gonna show you another picture. So if you could not write on this slide, you have another chance. And this is my second slide. Can you describe now this picture? What was happening when it was taken? And we have 4 different pictures. What about the first one? Can you recognize the girl? This girl? Let me see. Who's this girl? Can you remember her name? Anyone? Why is she famous for? And who are they? This group of people. What is her name? Why is she like lifting? She's lifting a big weight, right? And who's this guy?
Chito Vera.
So what happened back at, I think it was, I don't know if it was 2 years ago when he won the world championship too, the UFC, right? He's an UFC, he's very famous, right? For practicing UFC. Okay. So any ideas? Wait, I'm sorry. Thank you. Who's the girl? Anyone? Can you remember her name? This girl. She's Ecuadorian. It's a very young girl.
Daisy the Homer, maybe. I don't
This
know.
is Daisy. This is Daisy, right? This is Daisy. But what about this girl? No? Okay, let me see if I can find the, if I can find, I think her name is, her last name is Morejon, I think. Her first name, I don't remember. Glenda Morejon. Aha. This is Glenda. I'll show you her picture. Look. Her name is Glenda Morejon. And she became a world champion on, I think it's called, it's not really running, it's called march, right? When people are like, they're not really like running, it's not running. Let me see. She won the triathlon, I think. And she won the golden, this is her. And I think it was on, let me see, I don't remember the year exactly. But this is her. She's very young girl. That's Glenda Morejon. Ecuadorian athletes, right? Let me see. This is where we were. Let's go back and here, right? So what was happening on all of these different pictures? Okay, according to Daniela, Chito Vera was participating in the UFC for the world title. And I think he won it back at a time. On the last UFC competition, he didn't win, right? He didn't. But now, back at a time, if you look at the picture, yeah, he was really tired. He was feeling really tired. And he was participating in the UFC for the world title. Okay, good. What about Miss Mahones? What was she doing? Ecuadorian athletes, okay. They were competing, right? They were all competing, different sports, different, I mean, we're talking about soccer, UFC, weightlifting. Weightlifting is this one, the one that Daisy Mahones is, she's an expert, right? Very strong. And running. Okay. She was lifting, weightlifting. Thank you, Yvette. And the foot, what was the Ecuadorian soccer team? What were they doing, Angie? Tell me about the picture. What was happening?
Excuse me. Tengo muchas ventanas abiertas.
Okay.
I think football teams celebrating victory.
They were celebrating, right? And how do they celebrate? They have a special way, right? They have their own way to celebrate. What do they usually do when they celebrate?
I don't understand.
How do they celebrate? If you look in the picture, how do they celebrate? What are they doing? Do they sing? Do they pray? Sometimes they pray before playing, right? Have you seen them? Sometimes they hold.
God.
Excuse me?
Tal vez maybe a God.
They're thanking God. They're looking at the sky, right? Like this. They're looking at heaven, like, thank you, God, thank you. We won. We're winners. Like this, right? This is maybe a way of thanking God that they won, right? It might be. What about Chito Vera? What can you see in the picture? What was happening? Anybody else? Andresito, Jose? Any ideas?
Chito Vera,
Mhm.
the UFC fighter who faced the UFC champion, and I didn't anticipate. Well,
But Chito Vera was getting ready, right? He was like this, like he was maybe warming up, right? He's not really standing, he's like sitting, but he's like grabbing like this. Maybe he's moving his arms and he's getting ready to fight, right? Very nice. What about Miss Morejon? What was she doing? The runner, this lady. What can you see in the picture? Anyone?
she looked happy.
She looks happy, right? How does she celebrate? What is she doing? Grace? Alexander? How do they celebrate usually? What do you think?
Means the other people celebrate the victory with the applause.
Okay, they're clapping, right? They're clapping, they're like, oh, they're shouting, they're screaming, we win, like this, right? Sometimes people cry. So these are like, this is, I mean, they were all celebrating different ways, different times, different sports, different people, different places, but they were all celebrating, okay?
Miss,
So now,
I think
yes,
they were praying before the game.
they were praying. Usually, sometimes they pray. Maybe they, regardless of the religion, it's like they are praying, or they are like together, and they are really like. Sometimes they pray, yeah, or they hold hands, or they support each other, right? This is a way of like getting ready to the game, or maybe to fight. So, but this is a way, and these are like different ways of about how people can celebrate, or how do they react, right? When they are about to compete, right? They're competing against other teams. So now these are my pictures, but I want you to take a look at this picture. This picture was called a moment in history. What was happening? What do you think? Any ideas? What do you think it's happening? Why is people looking at somewhere, but we don't know where? They call it a moment in history. But why was an historical moment?
Maybe the people watching the movies
They're watching
or a
something.
concert.
Okay, it might be a concert. Good. They're watching, they're looking at something, right? Any other ideas?
The people is looking the story and memory time.
Okay, they were looking at something, right? Why is it called an historical moment? Let's read. Okay, so this is the story behind the picture. Can I have someone?
The people were scared.
They look scared. Okay, they look scared like this, right? Okay, but let's read.
The people is listening. Is they listening in the candidato presidencial?
Maybe to the presidential. Maybe
Be-
there's
be-
a presidential speech.
be- because the people in tienen los prendedores, ¿cómo es prendedor o afiches?
In, right? Oh, they
The
have their
people
flags,
are
right?
nervous.
They were nervous. They look nervous. They might be nervous, scared, they're looking at something. We don't know what. Okay, but let's read. Let's read. Dana, can you start reading? Please, a moment in history.
On 4th November, I arrived in Chicago late in the evening. I wanted to photograph Barack Obama and his family in the convention center. But when I got there, I discovered that I didn't have my press pass and I couldn't go inside.
Inside, okay. So let's pause right here. So on the 4th of November, okay, according to this person, he wanted to photograph Barack Obama. Who is Barack Obama? Who is? Because he's still alive.
He was the president.
Candidate president.
He was the president of which country?
He was former president of the United States.
United States.
And he was the first Black male president of the United States. So he was really famous back at a time. So this person, he said, I wanted to photograph Barack Obama and his family in the convention center. But he didn't have a press pass. If you want to get closer, you need an ID, right? Something that allows you to go close to the people, closer to the place where you want to take pictures. If you don't have the press pass, your identification, you cannot go closer. And what happened then? Do I have any other volunteers? Maybe. I walk around the park. Karen, would you like to keep reading?
Yes, miss.
Okay.
I walk around the park upside the center. I thought it was November. It was a warm night. The atmosphere was wonderful. When I took this photo, everybody was looking at the TV screen waiting for the election results. Some people were quickly holding hands and smiling. Others were tense and nervous. They felt that it was their moment. Okay. Suddenly, I realized that this was a better place to be than inside.
Okay, so let's make a little pause again. So what was happening? Why was people looking like tense? What were they? They were, some of them, according to the reading, they were nervous. They were holding hands, like they were waiting for what?
Waiting for the election result.
Okay, so back at a time in 2009, on November 4th, people were really, really anxious to know who was the president, right? To get to know the election results. When we have elections in Ecuador, have you realized that we are like, everybody is like looking at Ecuavisa, right? Ecuavisa, TC Televisión, all the Ecuadorian channels, and you keep like looking at the screen and seeing how many votes, and how is it going, because everybody wants to know who is going to be the president, right? So they were like waiting for the election results. So according to this, they were holding hands. Some of them were nervous. They looked really anxious to know who was the president. And then what happened? Do I have any other volunteers? Mercy, would you like to keep reading? Maybe, I don't know, Alexander, Sabrina.
Okay.
Okay.
I can, but I don't know where
Oh,
they
Noelia.
say.
Okay, don't worry. We were in
In Moment, right?
suddenly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Suddenly I realized that this was a better place to be than inside. I was watching Obama's victory through the faces of all these people, African, Hispanic, Chinese, white. At about 11 o'clock, the results were announced and everybody went mad. People started laughing, shouting, and crying. But when Obama made his speech, they all became quiet and emotional. There was only one place to be on the planet that night, and I was there.
So what happened? Why is this called a moment in history? Who won the elections?
Obama.
Mr. Obama, right? And why was this so important for African, Hispanic, Chinese, and everybody else in the States?
I think, I don't know the history of United States, but I think he was the first Afro-American president in the history of United States, so it was very important. So yeah.
That's why it's called a moment in history. So no matter where you come from, United States is a country where there's a lot of people from other countries, other cultures, other nationalities. So it's not just about the American people. It's, there's a big community, and that community is made of African people, Hispanic people, like people from South America, Latin America, Asia, Europe, different countries all over the world. So it was a victory not only for the American people, but for all the different minorities and all the different cultures who live in the States. So that is why they call it a moment in history. And that picture became really famous. You could see how they felt, right? People from different races, they were all looking and very anxious to know that was an historical moment, actually, for them. So now, thank you for your ideas. So this is, it really helps. And let me show you something else. Let me see. According to this, we are again looking at past, right? This is past tense. But if you look at this is not really past simple. Okay, past simple, we know that it's an action that already happened and it's finished and it's not happening now. But this is called past continuous. Past continuous is a past tense structure, but it allows you to describe what was happening right at the moment you're looking at the picture. This is not something that is happening now. This is the past already. But if you take a look in here, they are using different forms. They're using past in different ways. So they said, I arrived. Is it past simple or past continuous? What do you think? Let me see. Let me show you. And here, I arrived. That is just past, right? Past simple. But when you are saying, let me see. Some people were quietly holding hands. This is past, right? But if you describe their face expressions, right? Let me see. I think there's another one in here.
Was.
Okay.
Miss.
Where? I walked. This is past too.
I was watching Obama's.
I was
Miss.
watching.
At the
Yes.
TV.
I was
Miss,
watching.
disculpe,
Yes.
recién puedo abrir el audio, sí, he estado aquí toda la clase, solo que mi audio no funcionaba.
Okay.
Le escribí por WhatsApp.
Okay, thank you. What about
Aquí
your
estoy.
camera?
Okay.
Oh, there you are. Okay, thank you, Anthony. Don't worry. Okay, so I was watching Obama. Any other past continue description? from in here? No? Oh, thank
I
you. You
wanted.
use annotation. I wanted. What is it? Can you
There
The
was
underline it?
photograph.
Can you use you can use annotation tools to underline or to highlight if you find any other form of past tense or past continuous. Someone already did it. Everybody was looking at the TV screens. Excellent. Any other?
they fled that it was
Uh-huh.
moment.
Okay, let me see. Where is it? Where is it? It was a moment.
Más abajito.
Okay.
Ay,
They felt, so this is past, right? They felt that it was their moment. This is just past. Suddenly, I realized this is past too. I realized.
took this photo.
Which one?
I took this photo.
Mhm.
When I took this photo, everybody.
When I took this photo, this one, this is past too. When I took this photo, everybody was looking at TV screens, waiting for the election results. Some people were quietly holding hands and smiling. Others were tense. This is verb to be in past. But how do they describe people's reactions? If we go to this last paragraph.
Teacher,
Yes.
can I disconnect for a moment? I have problem with my camera.
Okay, Yvette. Any
Thank
other ideas? Let me use another color. Let me use green. And if you look at the annotation tool, so there's you can draw lines, you can underline, you can make lines thick or maybe thinner. You can write if you want to write. And here we don't really need to write, but we can highlight. When the results were announced, this is also past, right? People started laughing, shouting, and crying. So this is all, thank you. This is all past tense, okay? Just to let you know that in here, since we're talking about an action that happened like many years ago, I think this was in 2009 when this happened. This is actually called, see, let me keep going. This is called past continuous, okay? And if we talk about how is the structure of this grammar tense, and here, if we talk about past continuous, we might say, at 8:45 last Sunday, I was working in my office. So I'm describing an action that was happening at 8:45, but it was already in the past. It's not something that is happening right now. How do you write a positive or negative statement? There's also always personal pronouns. And in here, there's the verb to be. So in here, we need to use the verb to be, but in past tense. I was working, he was studying, I was not working when my mom arrived. So it might be I, she, it, we, you, they. If it's I or he or she or it, we're gonna use was. But if we're talking about you, about them, about we, we're not gonna use was, but we're gonna use were. For you, we, or they. We were working, they were not working. So it depends on the personal pronoun we are using. Okay, so this is past continuous. But this is just like the structure, but there's an additional practice I share in here for you. Let me see. This is, if you look at the slide, there's, let me see, let me take this out. Let me share the slide, the link with you so you can practice too. I'm gonna go to the chat and I am going to share the link to this.
Teacher,
Yes, Yvette.
I can fix the camera. Can you use the feed me, please?
Okay. Okay, but I'm glad you're back. I'm glad you're here. I'm glad
Thank
you could come back. Okay, if we talk about past continuous, what about this? If we're talking about my family and I.
Where?
What?
Where?
Why? You're like, where?
Where?
Why? I'm like, why?
Because where? Because
We're talking about
plural.
more than one
Plural.
people, right? It's plural, exactly. We're talking about my family and I. It might be 2 people, 3, 4, 5, right? So if it's plural, we need to use where. My family and I were having fun at the open air concert. Good. One more. Okay. Anybody else? Anita, can you go this one? Can you do this one? Go, go, go. The girl. The souvenirs are the souvenirs.
Word feeling.
Yes. Anna? Can you read it? We can help you. This is just a practice.
The girl were selling the sunburns at the sunburn state.
Souvenir stole. Souvenir stole is like a little, it's like a shopping stand, right? When there's like these business fairs and people are like selling souvenirs, a stall is like the place where they can sell their different merchandise. So if we're talking about the girl, and this is
Was
past
selling.
continuous. If we're talking the girl is she, right? She was selling the souvenirs at the souvenir store. Don't worry, we can keep practicing. Jose Enrique, what about this? I
Was wearing.
Why? Because I'm talking about myself, right? If it's about me,
Once.
I was wearing a leather jacket, but I
once.
wasn't.
Wasn't.
Why is it wasn't and not what was it positive and not, I mean negative and not positive? Because on the statement he says a leather jacket but the coat. It's not really clear, right? But if you think of this just like a positive statement, was could be fine. But I think he's trying to say that he was not wearing a leather jacket because this is not a leather jacket. No es de cuero. Maybe because it's about the fabric, right? The material. It's not really a leather jacket, it's just a coat, right? That's why it's negative. Okay, but we have one more. See, so this is fine. Wait. If let me see. Let me make it bigger. How can I make it bigger? I cannot keep going. You know what? Let me try again, okay? Would you like to share your screen instead of me? I don't know what happened with my screen. Can someone help me? Anyone? Maybe you could share your screen instead of me, because I don't know what happened to my link. It's not opening. Let me go back. Let me open the link again, okay? Okay, let me share the link again with you. I don't know what happened. What really happened? Okay, do I have any volunteers? Alguien que abra link and maybe you can help me. I cannot do it. I don't know what happened with my computer, but you can help me. Anyone? No? No volunteer?
Ladies.
Okay. It's easy. You just... okay. Thank you, Lisbeth. There you are. I don't know what happened with my screen. It got frozen.
Okay.
It's on in the previous slide. It's not that one. On the slide that is just before that one. It's in the chat. If you go to the chat, you can grab the link. Oh, there you are. Aha, okay.
Is there a word?
Bigger? Aha. If you click on the arrows, en las flechitas, you can make it bigger, like the whole screen. Ajá. Ajá. Can you make it bigger? En las flechitas. Lisbeth. Lisbeth.
The other sentences, he continued sentences.
Ajá. Can you make it bigger? Más grande.
Más grande.
Ajá. Oh, it's right here. Ajá. Right there. Si ven las flechitas, las 4 flechitas que están así. If you click there, then it's like it becomes the whole screen. There you go. There you go. Thank you. Okay, what about this one? At first, we in a huge mansion, but this is past continuous.
We're living.
We're living.
Okay, good.
We're living.
We're talking about we, right? We were living in a huge mansion. Good. Sabrina, would you like to try the next one? What? Alexander, Tom and Robert. We're talking about Tom and Robert, 2 people, plural.
We're doing.
Were doing. Tom and Robert were doing. What were they doing? Okay, good. Next. Were my parents walking the dog? According to the picture?
No, they weren't.
No,
they weren't.
No, they weren't, right? Good.
No, they weren't.
Good, good. Excellent, Fausto. Thank you. Okay, anybody else? Grace, would you like to try? I
was running.
Running?
I
What's dancing?
Wasn't
I wasn't dancing.
I wasn't dancing. She was sleeping, right? Good. Next. The cats with a bowl. This is a question. But if we're talking about one cat, only one.
was
playing.
Was the cat playing?
Playing with
Was
the
the
ball.
cat
Was playing.
Was
Playing
the
with
cat
a ball.
playing with a ball?
Was playing, no?
Uh-huh.
Was the cat playing
Was the
with
cat
a ball?
playing with a ball? Good. What about this? When do we use past continuous? To talk about finished past actions or to describe actions in progress in the past?
B. To describe
Yes,
actions.
in projects in the past.
B, right? We're describing actions happening in the past. Good. What about the next one? How do we form past continuous? What is the structure?
B. Letter B.
B.
B, right? So there's a subject
plus verb
plus a verb and ing. I was playing, I was reading, I was walking, he was working, they were laughing, past continuous. Good. Next.
Creo.
Yeah, I know. It might happen. Which sentence is correct? I was having lunch tomorrow at 10 or yesterday at 12 I was having lunch. A or B?
A.
I was
having lunch tomorrow.
Okay.
Yesterday at 12 I was having lunch.
B. B.
Why is it B and not A? Why?
I was tomorrow.
If we are talking about the past, we should not say tomorrow, right? Tomorrow, it means that that's future, right? So if we're talking about
the future.
exactly. So if we say yesterday, now we know that we realize that this is past, right? At 12, I was having lunch. So I'm describing an action happening in the past. Good. One more, and I think that will be the last one.
Letter B, correct?
B, yes, B. And one more, last one. Which sentence is correct? They weren't watching TV at 7 in the morning, or they wasn't.
They weren't. They weren't.
They weren't.
A, right? Why?
Because it's plural.
It's plural.
Because we're talking about they, right? Yes, that's absolutely correct. Thank you so much. Thanks for helping me. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Sometimes my computer is not really, you know, how they get. Sometimes they help, sometimes they don't help. Okay. So now you can stop sharing your screen. I want to show you something else. I'll try to share my screen now if I can. Let me see if I can do it now. I think I can now. There's one more practice I want you to try. Let me see if I can share my screen now. I think I might be able to do it. Let me see. It's taking time. Okay, let me see. And this is about past continuous too. I'm gonna share the link in the chat again. Okay, just give me one moment. If you can access the link, you can do it now, okay? Es el último link que compartí en el chat. What about this? Susan broke her leg when she A, B, or C?
Was.
Already.
Was
B.
ready.
Because
Was
we're
ready.
talking about Susan, right? When she
A.
was
A.
riding her bike. Good. A. One more. I was playing, my mother called me.
When?
When.
And, right?
When.
While, es como decir, I was doing this while my mother called me. Es como que algo que está pasando en ese momento, como dos actividades al mismo tiempo. But and here, he's not describing two activities happening at the same time. He's trying to say that he was playing when then her mother called him. Okay, what about this? I was playing while my mother was. So there's two activities happening at the same time. She's playing and they're cooking. What about this? We some eggs when Sarah called.
We're painting.
We're painting.
We're painting.
Painting.
Okay, we're painting eggs
We're
when
painting.
Sarah called. Good.
When Sarah called.
Okay, Danita, can you try this one? When he fell off the ladder, he fell off the
He
ladder.
was
He
climbing. He was climbing.
He
Leaving.
was climbing.
Was clearing.
Okay, so he was climbing and then he fell, right? I was getting ready.
When?
When.
When?
When.
Right.
When.
She was doing something and then something happened. They
Where.
they were
Were
cooking
cooking.
while the baby was eating. So this is again past continuous. Let me see. I have one more. So this is about practice. It takes a lot of practice. But now let me show you something else before we keep going. And this is another practice. Now, and here things become a little bit more difficult. Let's see if it's past simple or past continuous. So it might be just past or a description about an action happening in the past. Okay, what about this? You ride your bike when the accident happened? A or B? What do you think?
Did you write?
Did you write or were you writing? What happened first? What was he doing when the accident happened? Anita, what do you think? Were you riding your bike when the accident? He was riding his bike and then he didn't see the car. There was a car and then maybe he crashed on the car, right? Good. What about this? Wendy drive to work when she crashed into a car. What was happening
driving.
first?
B, letter B, was
A.
driving.
She was
Crash.
driving when she crashed into a car. This is how accidents happen, right? What about this? While I climb the old mountain, it starts snowing. Is it A, B, or C? What was happening first? What was she doing? The picture is not that clear, I think.
Climbing. Why I climbing? Whole mountain is started snowing.
When I was climbing. No.
Excuse me.
Is it A, B, or C? What do you think? Noelia? Any ideas? Angie? Jose Enrique? Andres?
Could be C.
Okay.
I don't know.
Well, I was climbing.
I was climbing and
it started snowing. So it was snowing and then, okay, what about this? Mom brushed her teeth when I arrived home.
Was brushing.
She was brushing
Letter
her teeth
Cepillar.
I arrived home, right? So we're describing what was she doing in the past. Well, another action happened. What about this? Simon sit under a tree when he
Simon sat under a tree when he saw.
Why?
Letter
There's two
Was
different
A.
actions. What happened first?
Sitting south.
He was sitting under the tree when all of a sudden he saw a snake. So we're describing an action happening in the past. What about this? What you do in the hospital when you.
Letter B.
What did you do in the hospital when I was seeing you? What was happening first? Was he at the hospital?
Were you?
So this person was at the hospital when, what were you doing in the hospital? It's like when you meet someone in the shopping center. What were you doing in the shopping center when I saw you, right? So you're describing again. What about this? Dad read his newspaper when the ball
Was reading.
So we are describing, right? He was reading and then the ball hit him. It was an accident, right? What about this? Last night at the party, while my friends ate sweets. What about this one?
Letter C.
Letter C.
Can you read it? Can you read the whole statement?
Was
Last
dancing.
night.
Were eating.
Last night at the party, I was dancing. While my friends
Were eating.
So I'm describing everything. I was dancing while my friends were eating sweets. So two actions happening. What about this? John played football when he Another accident. What was he doing first?
Letter
Was
A.
playing.
B.
Was playing.
Letter B.
I think B and C is the same, right?
Letter B.
Sleep and fold. Sleep and fold. What is the difference between B and C?
The verb fail.
Fail, right? The verb is not fold, it's fail, right? That's not correct. And that's it. So more practice. And now I have another practice before we go to the quizzes, because I really want you to practice first before trying any other quizzes. Okay, and let me share something with you now. This is going to be a little game. Let me see. Just give me one moment. Let me see. Okay. Just give me one moment. I'll share it with you now. So if you are here, if you are in class, you should be able to join the game, right? Okay. So now let's play. So this is going to be called past simple versus past continuous. How can you join? You can join through the barcode, or let me share the link in the chat so you can join. Okay, so there's two different ways. Either going to the website, joinmyquiz.com, and you can type the number 491277, or you can just click on the link, or if you want, you can scan the barcode from your cell phone and you can join. Okay, there's going to be only 10 questions. Very quick. Okay, thank you, Angie, Dana, Daniela, Karen, Jose, Lisbeth, Noé, and Jose Andres, Alexander Castro. Thank you for joining. I have 9 players. Jose Andres. Okay, good. Charlene. Maria Moreno, Anita, Mercy. Let me see. Andres, Liva. Fausto. Thank you, Fausto. Okay, Sabrina. And I should have how many students? I have 22 students. So I'm still missing 8 people. Andresito Moran, do you join? Jose Enrique, let me see. I'm calling everyone. Just making sure that everybody join. Let me see. Who am I missing? Sabrina. Okay, Sabrina. Yvette, thank you. Anthony. Anthony, can you join, please? Dana, I think Dana is there. Maria Jose. Let's see her. Grace, thank you, Grace. Yvette. Me dejan saber si tienen alguna inconveniente, okay? So I can like try it. Oh, because if I start, I cannot go back and you cannot join. You will not be able to join. Okay, Maria Jose is ready. Sonia, where is Sonia? Sonia. Yvette. Yvette, should I take the first Yvette? Which one is you? Yvette Vinuesa, or there's 2 Yvette Vinuesas?
I don't know. No sé lo que pasa con mi compu. Está loca.
Okay, I'm just gonna leave 1 Yvette, okay, because I had 2. Let me see, Anthony. Where is it, Anthony? Anthony, can you hear me? No lo veo en el juego, and I am about to start. Once I click on start, I cannot go back. Okay. There we go. First question. I, in a cafe when you, and these are all the different options. I sat, I was sitting, we, I were sitting. So there's like 1, 2, 3, and 4 options. And there's time. 5, 4, 3, 2. I was sitting in a cafe when you called. Good. Okay, good. That was just the first question. Next question. At 8 p.m. yesterday, what was she doing? She were listening, she is listening, she was listening, or she listened to music. 8 time. She was listening to music. Good. One more. Okay, let's go. When the house, it was raining, it rained. So we have 4 different options. And time is running. When I was leaving the house, it was raining. Vamos a ver cómo va ese puntaje. Charlene, good. Angie, Dana, Anna, and Noelia. Okay, good. One more. What when I you last night? And time. We have different opinions. Good. Dana, Noelia, Angie. Okay, good. What were you doing? This is a question. When I called you last night. One more. She in a bank when this is a story about a couple. How did they met? See, how are you doing? So she's describing how she met her husband. She was working in a bank when she met her husband. Okay. When she met her husband. Good. One more. Okay, Fausto. While down the stairs, there's another story. 2 actions happening in the past. While I was running down the stairs, I heard Stefan ring. Good. They, at tea, when the doorbell, again, another description. Okay. Sonia, can you read it? What was the right question? I mean, the right answer. Can you read it?
Yeah.
Yes.
And they were having a tea when the doorbell rang.
Right. Okay, good. Good, it's fine. Next. One more. When Marcos, so what was happening? And time. How's my leaderboard? Charlene, good. Oh, Dana. Dana's winning now. She beats Charlene. Okay, Dana, can you read it?
When we saw Marcos, he was driving.
His car. Good, good. Excellent, Dana. One more. Say, football, when the lights in the stadium fue la luz. What happened? Time is up. Okay. Can somebody help? Someone? Fausto, can you read it?
They were playing football when the lights in the stadium went out.
Went out. Se fue la luz. Lights in the stadium went out. But they were playing. Okay, what about this? Sam, the ironing when Jack is ironing, but I didn't made a mistake. Ironing, planchar. And time's up. Okay. Okay, what about this one? Dana, still on top. Okay. Now, let me see. Can somebody, Angie, can you read it? Sam?
Sam was doing the ironing when Jack phoned her.
Phoned her. Good. Excellent, Angie. What about this one? We at Marine Station when the train any other ideas? Let me see. Okay, what about this? Good, Sonia. Okay, let me see. Can I have another one? This was easier, right? It was kind of easy. Karen, can you read it?
We... Ay, pero no se ve. No.
Don't worry. Maybe you went, you click on the next question.
Yes, miss.
Okay, don't worry. Do I have any other volunteers? Maria Luisa, can you read it? Where is Maria Luisa? Okay.
We were waiting on station when the train arrived.
Good. We were waiting at the station when the train arrived. Okay. Good. One more. What about this? When I into the office, my boss for me. So I went into the office, but he was already there. Okay, let me see. What about this? Okay. Any other? So what was it difficult? When I came into my office, so when I went into the office, he was already there, but he was waiting for me. So it might be, we might have two different actions, but when we're describing, we have to be really careful what was happening first. He was already there, but he was doing what? He was waiting for me. Don't worry, this is just practice. Let's keep going. I think we have two more. What about this? They check when we two actions again. We're describing. Time's up. Grace, can you read it? Great. Can you please read it? Okay, go. Why we cannot hear you? Okay, there you are. There you go. No. Can you press again? No, we cannot hear you. Lisbeth, can you help her? Can you read it?
Yes, miss. They were pledging chess when we go there.
Got there. Good. Thank you. And we have two more. Okay, one more. At 9:30, she still her homework. It was 9:30. It means it was 9:30. She was still she still was doing her homework. Okay, this is very easy. It was a little bit more easy than the other. Okay, what about this last one? So there's an earthquake while Jane, and it actually happened this week in Taiwan, I think. They had an earthquake. And there was one in New York today. But the one in Taiwan was really strong. So she was okay. And that was the last one. See? Good, Dana. Charlene, Noelia, and Sonia. Good. Daniela, can you read it?
There was an earthquake while Jane was driving to work.
Good. Excellent. And that was the last question. And these are my winners. There you go. These are my statistics, and these are my winners. Dana, Anita, and Charlene. Good. Very good. So we still need to practice that. According to the statistic, like the class accuracy, it was just like almost 50%. So it means that there might be some more practice required, but we're doing fine. Okay, this is just, if we don't, I mean, the more we practice, the better we're going to be. Okay, now let me see. If we keep going, so these have been some practice about past continuous, and now let's try doing the grammar practice, okay? So now that we did the games and we played and we practiced, now it's time to try this. But we're gonna go to the platform, but before moving into the platform, we're gonna try the practice in here. Okay, so this is grammar section 2A and grammar section 2B, right? So in here, on the first practice, they want you to complete the statements with a verb in the past continuous. So on the first practice and here, we are just going to use past continuous, okay? Let me see. So we're gonna do the first one, this one, okay? Let's do letter A. So can you please help me in here? Okay, any volunteers? So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Number 1 is done. Good. Only past continuous. Okay. So number 1, someone is helping me. I still need number 2, number 3. Alexander, can you help me? Anna? Mercy? Can you try number 4? Okay. Angie? Maria Jose? Jose Enrique? Jose Enrique, can you help me with number 7? Because number 7 hasn't been done. Jose.
Okay.
Okay, thank you. I'm writing your name in here, so you can do it. Number 4, who wants to do number 4? Maria Jose, maybe. Okay. Number 4, Maria Jose. Okay, don't forget your names. Dana, thank you. Dana, can you read the first one?
I took this phone when my wife was working in the garden.
Good, thank you. I took this photo when my wife was working in the garden. Good, past continuous. She was working. Good, number 2. Alexander, please.
He meet his wife when he was living in Japan.
He met his wife when he was living in Japan. So this is a description about something that already happened, right? This is, he's describing how did he met his wife, right? So he met his wife when he was living in Japan. Good. Okay, let me see number 3. I don't know who's writing on number 3, number 4. I think Maria Jose typing on number 4, right? Let me see. Let me wait. till they finish typing. Okay. They who did number 3? Can you read it? Uh-huh. Can you read it? Number 5. Anna, can you read number 5 while they finish number 3 and 4?
Okay, okay. The sun was shining when I left for work.
Okay, good. We're talking about the sun, so it's singular. The sun was shining when I left for work. Good. Can you read number 3? I don't know if it's Maria Jose or I think you have to use the contractions. So if it says not wait, you should use the short form. They were not waiting for, oh, Maria Luisa, right? Did you write it? I'll try to make it, there you go. Maria Luisa, there you go. Okay. I was just trying to make it bold so we can read it. Can you read, Maria Luisa? Number 3.
They were not waiting for us when we arrived.
Okay, so they were not waiting for us when we arrived. Okay, and we are using the short form, right? Number 4, Maria Jose, can you read it? Thank you, Maria Luisa.
Wasn't she wearing a coat when she went out?
Was she, because we're talking about a female, right? Was she wearing a coat when she went out? Excellent. Okay, number 5, Anita.
The sun was shining.
Oh, I think you read it, right? Don't worry, I'm sorry. I forgot.
Okay.
Thank you. Number 6, Lisbeth, can you read it?
Yes. What were you doing at 7:30 last night?
Okay, good. What were you doing at 7:30? Good. Number 7, Jose.
I wasn't listening when you gave the instruction.
Instructions. Good, good. I was not listening. I wasn't. Good. Number 8, Yvette, can you read it?
We were not watching TV when you phoned.
Good, good. And now I think you're even doing letter B. Good. Karen, can you read number 1? And here we have to be careful because it might be past simple or past continuous. Okay, but let's try.
Yes, miss. I broke my arm when I was playing football.
Good, good, excellent. I broke my arm when I was playing. So she was playing and then maybe she had an accident or he had an accident and
Yes.
it broke her arm.
Broke.
Good. What about number 2? I don't know who's helping me on number 2. I don't know if it's Noelia. Mercy, I don't know if it's you. Who's doing number 2 so you can read it? Maybe. Oh, Dana, thank you. Can you read it, Dana?
Were you driving fast when the police stopped you?
Okay, good. Yeah, be careful with moving the picture, otherwise we're gonna lose everything. Okay, just be careful. Okay, thank you, Dana. Number 4. Is it someone, can I have someone helping me on number 4? The match because I.
Not sound.
Okay. So there's two
match.
different verbs, not see and work. So how can we rewrite it? But the
Not
first
see.
is negative.
Okay.
Okay, can you try?
I not see the march because I worked.
Okay, Anthony. There's just one little, okay, if we're talking about past simple, we need to use an auxiliary form, right? So it should be I did not, right? I did not or I didn't. But if I use past simple, I don't need to write the verb in past tense. So the verb will remain in the main form. So it should be I did not see or I did not saw the match.
I did not saw.
Not
match.
really. We don't need to use we don't really need to use the verb in past tense. Cuando ya estamos, cuando hacemos la oración negativa y usamos el auxiliar did, ya no tenemos que poner el verbo en pasado. Ya cada vez que nosotros usamos el auxiliar, el verbo aquí va a permanecer en su forma original. So then it will be I didn't see the match. No pude ver el partido. It might happen, right? I didn't see the match. Why? Because what were you doing?
Because I'm working.
But if we're talking about the past, it's not gonna be I am working.
Okay. Because I
was working. Entonces aquí no pude ver el partido. ¿Por qué? Porque estaba trabajando. Right?
Ya, ok. En pasado.
En pasado. Los dos son pasados, solamente que uno es pasado simple, algo que ya se terminó, pero en la otra opción, en past continuous, se llama continuous porque estamos como describiendo. Es para describir también, pero algo que ya pasó, una acción que ya sucedió. Entonces, I didn't see the match because I was working. Good. Thank you.
Okay.
Good. What about number 5? Charlene, can you read it?
Yes, when you called me, I was talking to my boss.
When you called me, what was happening right at the moment? I was talking to someone else, to my boss. Good. Number 6, Fausto.
Number 6, we studied in Cambridge when we were meeting.
Okay, there's something that we should fix in here. Where is it past simple and where is it past continuous? What do you think? Is it something we need to fix? What should be fixed? We started in Cambridge when we were meeting. And this is actually the story about how people met, right? So they're describing that while they were studying in Cambridge, they met, right? So how can we fix this? ¿Cómo lo arreglamos? Aquí hay algo que hay que arreglar. This should be fixed. And this should be fixed. Hay que arreglar esto. But how? How can we fix this? What do you think? You're describing. You were studying somewhere. Maybe you were living somewhere when, while living or were studying in Cambridge, he's describing or she's describing how they met. So how can we fix this? ¿Cómo sería aquí? ¿La primera pasado simple o la segunda pasado simple? Or past continuous here, or maybe past simple in here. How can we correct this? Anyone? Would you like to help? One helper? Sabrina, Charlene? No?
We were studying.
Ajá.
Studying.
Ajá. We were studying in Cambridge, right? So he's describing, or she's describing. When
Meet.
we met. Ajá. When we met. Están contando la historia, ¿no? ¿Cómo se conocieron? ¿Qué estaban haciendo? So they were studying. It might be Cambridge, it might be Quito, it might be Guayaquil, I don't know, the states, when they met. Okay. Okay. And that's it. And number 7, Andresito. Can you read it? Andres Moran.
Were they living in Rome when they had their first baby?
So they were living in Rome, but this is actually a question. But someone is asking, right? Were they living in Rome when they had the first baby? Were they living in Guayaquil when they first met? Were they living in Australia when they had their first child? Good. So this is how it might be different, right? Past simple and past continuous. Now, if we go back, let's finally go back to Moodle. Ahora sí nos vamos por acá. Now, this is where we are now. Let me exit this. And this is where we are going to check. This is where we are. This is how far we have come and we have worked so far. We finished all the activities on unit number 1, A, B, C, and then we started to A workbook, and this is unit 2B. Unit 2B starts by, no, let me see. This is not 2B, this is 2B. Okay, this is where we are now. So it starts by showing you the picture about Obama's first presidential election when he won and he became the first Black male American president. That is called a moment in history. And then we start talking about past continuous. Okay. So what about the first quiz? We didn't try the quizzes yet. So this will be the first quiz. Okay. What about this? If we look at this little paragraph, do they describe actions that happen after the reporter took the photo, or at the same time as he took the photo? What do you think? How actions are being described? After it happened or while he was there?
At the same.
How do you know it happened at the same time as he was taking the picture? How do you know it wasn't after, but it was at the same time? Can you read it? We can read it. Sabrina, can you read it? Can you read this little statement in here, this little section? Wait. Let's read this. When I took this photo, everybody was looking at the TV screens, waiting for the election results. Some people were quietly holding hands and smiling, others were tense and nervous. So he's describing, there's a description about the different actions happening while people were waiting for the election results. So very simple. It happened right at the same time it was happening that he's actually going through this description. Very simple. You don't have to write anything. And that's the first quiz. That is quiz 2A. Okay, and this is unit 2B, just in case. This is where we are, para como que recapitular aquí. This is past continuous. This is what I show you on the slides. And this is where we are now. Grammar Bank 1A and Grammar Bank 1B. This is something we still have to work on. We can work this after the break. So let's try to do this now. Grammar Bank 1A. Vamos al primer Grammar Bank. Okay. And this is exactly what we were doing on the slides. Okay. So we're going to complete this only with past continuous. Okay. And here we're only using past continuous, not past simple. Okay. But we have to write the whole thing. We have to write the whole statement. Okay. But this is something we had done before. Ya lo habíamos hecho. So this should not be a problem, right? So I want you to try it now. Okay, so you try it. Vamos.
Solo
Let's work 1A. Let's just do this one for now. Porque son dos. Recuerde que todos los grammar banks tienen dos prácticas. Hay dos quizzes. But this is only the first one. This is 1A. So, and then after 1A, that's going to be a 1B. But let's do just 1A for now. Vamos a hacer solamente esto. Right now. José Andrés, excellent. Andresito is done. Okay, Charlene, María José, Michelle, Lisbeth, Alexander, Dana, Karen, Yvette, Noelia, José Enrique, and Ana del Carmen. Okay. I'll give you time. Okay, so let me check. Vamos a ver cómo vamos. Recuerde que tiene que tener mucho cuidado when writing. Be careful. If you misspell a word, si por ahí se equivocan una letra, no se lo va a hacer válido. Let me see. This is Dana's first attempt. Let me see. They were not waiting. Actually, the apostrophe is right? But what was the mistake in here? There is one little mistake. ¿Cuál fue el error aquí? ¿Quién me dice? ¿Quién me dice?
Is only one T.
Waiting is only with one T. Pero se nos puede ir, right? Es una letra más. Pero lamentablemente como esto es una plataforma y es un sistema que detecta la respuesta y la palabra tal como se escribe, entonces tiene esa sensibilidad, ¿no? Al deletreo de palabras. Por eso les digo, be careful. But you always have a second chance. Siempre tiene una segunda oportunidad. Si usted no se quiere quedar con el 9 y sabe que se equivocó en eso, que realmente no fue su error, no es que usted no entendió la consigna, por ejemplo. So, you try again. Y no pasa nada. Good. Lisbeth. Charlene. What happened with Charlene? Vamos a ver qué le pasó. Was she is not really eating, it was wearing a coat. Hay que tener en cuenta que aquí lo que le dan siempre entre paréntesis, ese es como el prompt. En inglés le llamamos prompt, pero es como la guía, ¿no? El verbo que usted debe utilizar. It might happen. Somos humanos. We might make mistakes. And we try again. no pasa nada. Ujú. Para eso es la práctica. Para que ya cuando usted se enfrente a la prueba en la plataforma, pues no le pase, ¿cierto? Okay, so we're gonna stop here. If you finish, in the Grammar Bank 1A quiz, we're gonna have a break now.
Yeah.
2 and 1. Okay, let's keep going. It's 8:22, so we have to move. Okay, we have to keep going. So we were doing the grammar section, right? We were working on past continuous, right? Okay, so past continuous, let me see, let's go back. This is where we are, right? To be. And this is where we are. So we already tried grammar section 1A. And now let's go to grammar section 1B. Okay, let's see. So what do we have to do in here? It's a little more challenging. According to the statement, there might be more than one possible option, but we have to complete the statements either with past simple or past continuous, right? And this is something that we already tried on the slides. So I want you to try it now. Daniel is coming back. Svet. Okay, Karen, Charlene. So this is where we are again, everyone. This is Grammar Bank 1B, okay? We did it already. You were helping me by completing the statements either on past simple or past continuous. So this is something that it was done. We check already every single statement. And here on Moodle, this is already a quiz. It's a test. Okay, but we can try this test now. Alexander is trying. Okay, Marjorie. Angie, Maria Jose. Anthony, this is where we are, so you can try it. This is Unit 2B, and this is Grammar Section Practice 1B, okay? Yvette.
Sí,
Okay.
Miss, he estado poniendo atención en todas las actividades. Lo que pasa es que estoy en el teléfono porque no tengo la computadora ahora, por
Okay,
eso.
okay.
Sí,
Entonces,
pero yo lo resuelvo igual de aquí, no se preocupe mañana.
okay. Entonces, durante la
Ya.
semana debe tratar de ponerse al día, ¿ok?
Sí,
Ajá.
sí, ya con los anteriores ya me puse al todos.
Ah, ok, chévere. Chéverísimo. Ok, listo. Good. So, this is where we are again. Fausto is back. Let me see, Dana. Okay, so I want you to finish on this first so we can move, okay? We can keep going. Let me check again. Going back and back and back again. Okay. So I now have Grace, Yvette, and Mercy. Okay. Okay, ready. Let me see. Let me stop sharing the screen so you keep working. And now there's something I wanted to show you. And this is something that I really like. I'm not going to ask you to write your own story. I would like you to help me, everybody, to add one sentence. And this is called a scary story. A woo story, right? Very scary. So this is a story about someone, and the story starts like this. I could not sleep. I was tossing and turning for hours. So you are in bed and you cannot sleep, so you start moving one side to the other side. That's tossing and turning, like back and forth, right to left. When you cannot sleep, usually it happens, right? It was thundering, a big thunderstorm, and lightning. Lightning es cuando hay estos rayos así que todo se enciende y usted se queda ahí, así. All of a sudden, I heard, so this is how the story starts. So I want you to add sentences. So we are going to keep telling the story. But remember, this is a scary story. So we're gonna describe the scene using past continuous. What happened next? How do you feel? What happened at the end? So we're not gonna be writing like one story, each of you. We're gonna help each other, okay? So everyone is gonna add one additional idea. This is how the story starts, and this is where we are going to keep writing, okay? So if the story starts like this, all of a sudden, I heard what additional ideas can we add to the scary story? Anyone who wants to keep writing? Anyone? Any ideas? You could not sleep. I couldn't sleep. I was tossing and turning. It was thundering. It was raining and lightning non-stop. All of a sudden, like I heard what? Can you add another idea to the story? Any other actions? Who wants to start? Do I have any volunteers? So we can keep telling the story. Remember, this is a scary story. So if it's scary, we should add scary ideas or scary events, scary actions. And this is how you can write. You just add, I'm gonna add mine, okay? I'm gonna start myself, okay? All of a sudden, I heard, I'm gonna keep writing in here. All of a sudden, de pronto, all of a sudden, I heard a cat in the garage. I don't know. I heard a cat in the garage. Then, so what could happen next?
I heard footsteps outside the room.
Then, can you write it? Can you write your idea? Then,
I heard footsteps outside
footsteps.
the room.
Okay, footsteps, footsteps
Outside the room.
Outside the room, okay. All of a sudden, I heard a cat in the garage. Then I heard footsteps outside the room. And then we can finish the idea with full stop. We make a pause, and then we can add another sentence. Any other ideas? So we can keep writing a scary story. Andres, Mercy, any other ideas? Alexander, Charlene. I love scary stories. I could add more ideas, but I want to listen to your ideas.
Miss, one question is continuing the story or is another?
No, we should continue the story.
Okay.
What can we add? What happened then?
I started trembling and trying to imagine what was going on. Maybe.
Okay. Can you add your idea? Can you write it? It's fine. Meanwhile, okay, I started trembling like this, right? I started trembling and Okay, I started trembling and trying to figure it out. What was going on or what could it be? Good. So who wrote that section of the story?
Me.
Who's me? Noelia. No,
Noelia.
Noelia.
Yeah.
Okay. So this is Noelia, right? Okay. That was Noelia. And well, who wrote it the first one?
El mío, Yvette.
Yvette, right? Okay. Outside the room, this is Yvette, right? Okay. Any other ideas after Yvette's and Noelia's scary story? Lisbeth, María José, no? Fausto, Danielita, Alexander, Sonia, Karen, Andresito, Angie, José Enrique, no? Anthony. But we have a
Then,
lot of lines.
Hi,
Then,
Miss.
then open my window.
But we stand already. We use stand in here. Which other word could we use? Any other words?
Miss, then the wind opened my window.
When I open the window, can you write it yourself?
When the wind opened my window.
When the wind open my window, like this.
My window.
Okay. Okay. Any other ideas? No? Maria Luisa, any other ideas? When the wind opened my window, wait. I
feel very scared.
I saw what?
Spirit.
A
A
child.
spirit, a child, a spirit. Okay, what was the spirit? The ghost. I saw a spirit doing what?
In the yard.
A spirit in the yard. Okay. Can you write it? If you want, you can write it down. But don't take out the lines. I mean the background. Se me fue el fondo. There you go. It's back. Okay. I lay awake in bed. But it needs to make sense. When the wind opened my window, I saw spirit. What was the spirit? Outside, in the yard. Okay. We could use connectors. Afterwards, an hour later, or just later, suddenly, suddenly, the lights, oh, I like it. The lights went out. It was dark, completely dark in the room. Okay, good. Good, good, Maria Jose, good. Okay, excellent. Suddenly the light went out in the room and then but in reality, when I came out, so how the story ends? I saw a bird wanted to come in because Okay. If you want to add another ideas, you can do it. Okay, so it wasn't really a spirit, it was just a bird, right? Is that what you mean? Okay, good. So that might be the end of the story, right?
The camera is working.
Oh, really? Where are you? Let me see. Oh, let's see. Where is it? Yvette, Noelia, Anthony. It's working again. Oh, there you are. I can see you now. I'm glad. Okay. Someone is investigating. Who is it? I adventure into the darkness. Wow. Esto ya parece Stephen King with the scary stories. Andres. Okay, good, Andres. Okay, now let's read the whole story, how the story goes. Okay, does it make sense? Okay, who wants to read like the whole story? Any volunteers? Andres, would you like to read? I think someone is still, I think they're still typing. Let me see how the story finished. Finally, I ran. Okay. I ran to the room. I ran to the room. Okay. I ran to the parents' room. To my parents' room, maybe. I don't know. And then, so what happened at the very end? Okay, can you read the whole story, Andresito?
Hey, teacher.
Yes, can you read it? Let's read if it makes sense. Let's see.
Okay.
Okay.
All of a sudden, I heard a cat in the garage. Then I heard footsteps outside the room. I started trembling and trying to figure it out what was going on or what could it be.
Okay.
When the wind opened my window, I saw a spirit. I lay awake, a faint sound caught my attention from the garage. Suddenly, the lights went out in the room. In trial, I adventured into the darkness to investigate. But in reality, when I came out, I saw a bird waiting to come in because it was raining a lot. I let him in. I took care of him. Finally, I ran to the parents' room.
Okay, good. So does it make sense? It makes sense, right? So there's a lot of different actions happening. And at the very end, the last section of the story, he just ran to his parents' room. Okay, because maybe he was really scared, right? Like you can see him on the picture, really, really scared. Thank you, guys. So you have been very creative on adding the different parts of the story. Thank you so much. So now, there's something we had not explored, and this is something that is, these are called prepositions, right? I think we went through some prepositions of place, but there might be also prepositions of time, okay? So this is not on the book. I mean, this this picture, I think is really useful because prepositions might be divided into prepositions. If we're talking about time, it might be about specific times, specific dates or days, or long periods. Okay, so if we talk about specific times, we usually use at 6 o'clock, at lunchtime, at the weekend, at the end of the month, at Christmas. Very specific time. If we want to be more specific about the date and date, we could say on Tuesday, on April 1st, on weekdays, to be specific but about the date or the days. And if we talk about longer periods, in 2016, in summertime, in September. What is the difference? At is usually when we are being very specific about a time. If it's at 6, at 8, it could be in 2016, but it might be the whole year, right? We don't know exactly what time. So then we use in. So if we talk about the parts of the day, it might be in the morning, in the afternoon, in the evening, or at night. Esas son como las excepciones. So there's a link in here for you to practice. Let me share the link in here in the chat. And this is prepositions of time. This is called live worksheets. So this is kind of an interactive activity. Let me see. So in here, you will find a lot of prepositions, many, many prepositions. I'll show you now how it looks like. Just give me one moment. This is where we are. And these are prepositions of time. We might decide if it's in, on, or at. Okay, let's see. In, according to this, we use in for centuries, for decades, for years, or for months. In es como para periodos de tiempo mucho más largos, ¿no? No somos tan específicos, no estamos hablando de la hora ni del minuto exacto. Estamos diciendo in February, in March, durante todo ese mes, ¿no? In the year 2010, in the 21st century, so that is in. The morning, in the afternoon, in the evening. But we use on when usually we talk about dates or days of the week. On Monday, on Tuesday, on Friday, or days consisting of months and days. On holidays, on Christmas Day, para, por ejemplo, fechas muy específicas o muy representativas. On Christmas Day, on New Year's Eve, on Easter Day, en feriados, por decirlo así. At, when we're talking about the time, at 5, at 6, at 8, at 7, at, okay? At usually holidays sometimes, at Christmas time, ahí también hay una diferenciación. There might be like important dates, but if we're talking about Christmas or Easter or New Year's, it might also be at. Hay sus excepciones. So let's try. What about this? Spring. What do you think?
Spring.
In spring, right? What is it
Spring.
in and not at?
Long
Spring,
time.
a long time, right? Podemos decir in winter time, in summertime, in the rainy season, pero puede ser algunos días. It's not like a specific time, like the hour or date. It's just the summertime or just the season, right? What about 2012?
In.
In 2012, okay. What about Monday, days of the week?
On.
Right? On Monday, on Tuesday, on Wednesday. What about Christmas Day?
On.
At.
It could be at Christmas, on Christmas, but let me see. According to the rules, let's go back to the rules. ¿Dónde estaban las reglas? Let me see. Let's look at the rules again. If we're talking about Christmas, which is very specific, according to this, it might be at Christmas. At Christmas time, at New Year's Eve. It might be in or, I mean, this might be, might not really be like 100% on or in. I think it depends on the context. No solamente de una sola palabra. Okay, according to this, is at Christmas Day, right? What about Easter?
At.
Okay. What about Sundays?
On.
On Sunday, right? Days of the week. What about January?
In.
In. Months, right? Evening.
On.
In.
In the evening, right? In the morning. In the afternoon, okay? What about Tuesday?
On.
On Tuesday, right?
On.
What about the
On.
morning?
In.
In the morning, right? December 31st.
At.
I think it should be on. Very specific because we're talking about December, but December the 31st. Día
on.
especial. On December 31st. 10 o'clock. At, porque estamos hablando de horas, siempre que sean horas. September.
In.
In, es el mes entero, the month. The afternoon. In the afternoon, right? Wednesday.
On.
On Wednesday. Midnight.
In.
Usually it could be at midnight. A la medianoche, más o menos así.
In.
Let's try. Let's see if it's, I think it's not in midnight. In midnight es una hora muy específica.
It's
at.
Saturday.
Saturday or afternoon. Saturday afternoon.
On.
Right? On Saturday afternoon. It might be in too. What about noon? El mediodía.
At noon.
At noon. Easter day. Easter day. Easter es la Pascua. What do you think? On Easter day. Holidays, right? Monday. On Monday. Autumn. The whole season.
In.
Autumn. In autumn.
In.
Okay.
In.
What about the afternoon?
On.
In the afternoon.
In the afternoon.
In the afternoon. 7 o'clock.
At.
Spring.
In.
In. Midnight.
On.
At midnight. Very specific. Oh, there's 50. But don't worry. Let's keep going. December 16. Very specific.
At.
On December 16. Porque es una fecha como muy...
Pero y 16 no es un tiempo específico, o sea.
Very specific, claro.
Y no es at.
A veces puede ser at, pero generalmente at, déjeme ver, at, es que tiene ciertas variantes, porque generalmente aquí, ¿por qué on sería mejor? Porque estamos hablando de una fecha bastante específica. No es del tiempo, sino la fecha. Entonces, a veces tiene sus variantes. Aquí hay 50, so there might be like different, like thousands of different options. What about evening? In the evening. What about Christmas Day? Solamente uno al año. On Christmas Day. Okay. Noon. Este creo que ya se repitió. At noon. 1970. In 1970. So I think it's pretty clear, right? The difference when it's very specific, when it's not that specific. But let me show you something else. This is just one practice. It's a very long practice, but I think I have one more. I have another practice. Let me see. Let me show you this. Because it might be a little confusing because there's like different options. What about this? Aquí tenemos otro cuadrito que tal vez sea un poquito más, more specific. Y tenga como un detalle un poco más diferenciado. At specific times. I get up at 7 o'clock. Holidays, que los holidays generalmente es una vez al año, ¿no? One Christmas Day, one New Year's Eve. Entonces, generalmente, si ya hablamos de Christmas, at Christmas, at Thanksgiving. Si hablamos de días de la semana, days, on Wednesday, on Friday, I think that is more, this is easier, right? Days of the week, on Monday, on Tuesday. Dates, cuando son fechas también muy específicas, March 27, on the 16th of March, on the 16th of December, on months, cuando son las fechas, los tiempos más largos, en no tan específico, ¿no? In January, in 1971, in 2023, periodos largos. In the decade, también, como hablamos de tiempos mucho más largos, ¿no? Decades, 1940s, in the 60s, centuries, también mucho más largo. In the 16th century, 19th century, seasons, in summer, in spring. Y si hablamos también de periodos de tiempo, cuando yo les digo, por ejemplo, the class starts in 10 minutes. No es tan específico, pero es un periodo de tiempo. So it might be in. Now, what about this? This vocabulary section. There's only four statements. If we're talking about a date, according to this, is it at, in, or on? What do you think?
On.
On, right? On November 4th, on September the 2nd, on March 27th. So that's on. Can you help me by completing statement, the first statement, number 1? What about number 2? Time. At 11, at 10, at 8 a.m., at 5 p.m. Times at. Morning, afternoon, evening. In, right? In the morning, in the afternoon. What about rooms or buildings? Esto no está aquí, rooms or buildings. Generalmente cuando hablamos de lugares, por ejemplo, así como dice aquí, ¿no? Rooms o buildings puede ser, por ejemplo, the convention center, at the Institute of Art and Technology, cuando hablamos de como lugares específicos, ¿no? En este caso como edificios o lugares como, por ejemplo, institutos, centros de, generalmente sitios, lugares, is always at the convention center, at the monument, at the Statue of Liberty, la famosa Statue of Liberty, at Malecón 2000, si quisiéramos adaptarlo a nuestro entorno, that would be at, cuando se trata de lugares. Thank you, Sonia. So that's it. Let me see, there's one more. Aquí tenemos another, let me see, oh, that link is no longer available, but I have another link. Let me see, more prepositions. Let me see, I'll show you now. This is the link. Let me share that on the chat. Just give me one moment. Where is it? Where is it? Okay, in here. Okay. No, just kidding. Okay. If you go to the last link, the very last link, let me see, I'll show you how it looks like. I'll share it with you now. This is the last link, okay? If you click on the link, si usted también ingresa al enlace, hágalo desde su computador para que también usted haga la práctica y no solamente como que observemos, ¿no? Okay. So what about it? Okay. What about dates? Months?
On.
Or on? Anyone? In January, right? My birthday is in March. It's in September. Solamente el mes. No está siendo específico con el día, sino solamente el mes. Okay, one more. Get there. One more. Holidays begin on Saturday, July 18th.
On.
Ay, skip, se me fue on. Porque estamos siendo muy específicos. July 18, When is it the next holiday? Our next holiday? In Ecuador. When do we have a
First name, my first.
May 1st, right? Okay, good. On May 1st, we have another holiday.
On summer. On summer.
Go to the beach.
In summer,
Porque estamos hablando de la temporada. Estamos diciendo de qué día vamos a ir. Only summer, right? Periodos largos de tiempo. One more. So they give you a bonus round if you want to go for extra point. Then they switch the cards. And you don't know where they are. Instead of winning, I'm losing points. Okay. One more question. Where were you Wednesday? On, right? Because we're talking about days of the week. On Wednesday, on Monday. Okay. Let's go to the next one. The football match is well, on, right? Porque hablamos de fechas es la fecha y el día del mes. Very specific. On. Okay, one more. Stella's birthday is in. We don't know if it's December, January, just winter. Okay, one more. Another bonus round. I always go for the highest. They move it already. Oh, it's gonna go faster. Very fast. The school is open quickly.
From 2.
From 2, letter B.
8 to 16, right? It wasn't on the prepositions of time. Oh. But it was very fast. My favorite TV series is on TV late, but I try to watch it every day. At night, right? At night. Usually at night, at noon, también es at. Esas son las excepciones, but in the morning. Tuesday mornings, I go to school on foot. In Tuesday or on Tuesday?
On Tuesday.
On Tuesday, right? Porque estamos hablando de days of the week, right? Días de la semana. Good. I win it. Okay, and this is the last one, I think. Okay, question number 10. The afternoon, I always do my homework and meet my friends.
In the afternoon.
Good. Excellent. So we win it. Okay, now that we did a lot of practice, they're clapping you. Okay, now let's go back to Moodle. Let's see, I think there's not too many quizzes about this. Let me see. So which unit is this one? So what is the unit we're working on? Just to see if you're paying attention. Where are we? 2B or 2C? Or 2A? This is done, right? So we're not on 2A. We are on 2B, right? We haven't finished 2B. Okay. So talking about prepositions. Okay. Which prepositions do you use before? And this is the one we tried already. Remember this? ¿Se recuerdan de este? This is the one we just did on the slides. Okay, now you try it. There you go. Thank you, Lisbeth. So where are we? Unit 2B. On Unit 2B, this is the vocabulary section. And we are talking about prepositions of time. In, on, or at. And this is quiz 3A. This one. So there's only 4 statements. Very easy, very simple. Okay, ready? Okay. So this is where we are, right? Let me see, results. So there's only 4 statements. Which one was wrong? Fausto. Okay, let me see what happened. In the convention center, but usually it's at the convention center. And maybe in or at. Maybe in if you're inside the building. Tal vez si está dentro del edificio. Tal vez esa es la diferencia, que puede ser at. Generalmente es at cuando yo digo at y son lugares. At school, for example. Siempre si hablamos de la escuela, at school, at the university, pero tal vez aquí lo tomaron como in porque está dentro del lugar. Could be, dentro de un lugar. In a room or a building. Tal vez por eso es in y no es at. Pero también puede ser at, si solamente nos referimos al lugar. Tal vez no estamos dentro del lugar, pero estamos, nos dirigimos hacia un lugar. Podemos decir at también, o sea, no está mal. Pero tal vez el contexto aquí es de dentro del lugar. Puede ser ese el error. Ok. Puede ser la diferencia. Thank you. So you're trying it again, okay? Good. Now, there's one more preposition quiz. Let me see, and that is actually this one. Again, if we're talking about a month, months, in or on or at, what do you think? In January, right? In January, in December, in September. Okay. What about the weekend?
On the weekend.
On the weekend, porque estamos siendo muy específicos. Puede ser on Monday, on Tuesday. On the weekend se entiende que o puede ser sábado o domingo. Una de las dos opciones. What about school or work? Home, si estamos hablando de lugares. Aquí sí aplica. Si decimos at school, right? At school, I'm at work now. I'm at home, era lo que yo les decía. Si solamente hablamos del contexto como lugar, at está correctamente usado. And these are just the 3 options for you to try. ¿Cómo vamos? There's one mistake. What happened? Andresito Liva. Let me see what happened. At the weekend. Siempre cuando hablamos del fin de semana, at the weekend. Pero si hablamos de un día en específico dentro de la semana, on Monday, on Fridays. But weekends, at the weekend. And if we talk about places, at work, at home, at school. Ya sabemos que si son meses, periodos de tiempo más largos, in January, in December, in October, in November, in May, in June. Okay. And let me see. There's something else. There's one more. Let's go to Vocabulary section 2A. Okay, let's see. I think we haven't tried this one. Let me see if I have that in my slides. I thought I had that on my slides. No, I don't have it on the slides. Okay. But we can try it in here.
Miss,
Yes. Pausa.
disculpe, sí, hice la prueba del 3B, del 3B, pero me sale en el weekend,
Ajá.
me sale un error, me sale at, que tengo que ponerle at.
At the weekends. At the weekends. La diferencia era que si hablábamos de un día entre semana, on Monday, on Tuesday, on Wednesday, pero si hablábamos del fin de semana, que podía ser sábado o domingo, that should be at the weekend. Esa era ahí la pequeña, la diferencia. And what about this? So now let's try vocabulary bank 2A. So this is the last vocabulary bank. Let's go. What about this? In here we have more prepositions. We might have in, on, at, of, to, for, and about. Okay, let's see. This is where things get a little bit more interesting. If we're talking about a place, I arrived on Friday night. Usually when we talk about places, it might be at or it might be to. Si estamos llegando a un lugar, it might be I arrived to Paris or I arrived at Paris. So which one should be right? On or at or in? Could be in. También. I arrived in Quito. I arrived in Guayaquil. I arrived in Cuenca. I arrived in Paris on Friday night. What about number 2? I was very tired when I arrived
At
the hotel. At the hotel. What about number 3? I hate waiting. Usually, these are expressions. Son expresiones que generalmente siempre van seguidas de una preposición específica. No existen, son expresiones, o sea, ya están dadas de esa manera. Y cuando decimos waiting, usually you wait for someone. That's like the rule. You wait for someone. And number 3 is I hate waiting for people who are late. So you wait always for someone. Okay. What about number 4? What are you going to do at the weekend? Ya dijimos que si era the weekend, it was at the weekend, right? Okay. What are you doing? What are you going to do at the weekend? Okay. What about letter B? This is kind of a conversation. Lisbeth?
What the sentences, Miss?
This is number 4.
For what are you going to do on the weekend? At the weekend.
Okay. And then what should be the answer? Letter B. I don't know. It depends. Usually when something depends on something. It depends on the weather. So if it's sunny, if it's not sunny, if it's cloudy, that's the weather. So usually something depends on. Esta también es otra expresión. Generalmente to depend on something. Usually it follow after the preposition on. It depends on you. It depends on the weather. It depends on the time. It depends on the activity. It depends on the exam, on something. Number 5. Charlene, would you like to try number 5?
Teacher, ¿cuál era number 4B?
On the weather. It depends on the weather. What about number 5?
I'm sorry, but I really don't agree you.
And it's not really don't agree you, it's don't agree with you. Aquí se comieron un pequeño espacio. Aquí deberían haber colocado, por ejemplo, if we go to the annotation tools, aquí faltó algo. It depends, when you can agree or disagree with someone. Let me see. Aquí deberíamos haber agregado un with. With. Usually you agree with someone. Usted está de acuerdo con alguien sobre algo. So I think it's missing, but it should be. I don't agree with you. What about number 6? When you ask, you usually ask for something. Can you read it?
I asked for a chicken sandwich, but this is tuna.
So usually you ask for something. Esas son otras expresiones también. You ask for something. I asked for a chicken sandwich, but this is tuna, so she's complaining. What about number 7?
2.
Let's invite Debbie and Tim to the party, right? Okay. What about number 8? Mercy. Will you try it?
4.
You usually pay for. Cuando hablamos de pagar, this is another expression. When you pay, you usually pay for something. Usted paga por algo. You pay for the meal, you pay for the tickets, you pay for the clothing, you pay for the TV show or the concert tickets. So you pay for something. Okay. What about number 9? Alexander, would you like to try?
Two.
Can you read the whole statement?
I need to speak to Martin the meeting.
In the meeting, I think it should be. I need to speak to. You usually speak to someone. Usted habla con alguien. You speak to someone. So I need to speak to Martin in the meeting. What about number 10? Anybody else? Oh, Mercy, would you like to try? I don't know.
On.
Who said on? Let me see.
Me.
Okay, Angie. Okay, can you read the whole statement?
4.
Excuse me, miss.
Number 10.
4.
On.
Can you read the whole statement?
And don't spend much money on food.
On food. On food. When you spend on something. Ese es otro. On. Porque esas son expresiones que ya van seguidas de ciertas preposiciones. Es como cuando yo digo agree with, pay for, it depends on. Siempre siguen o están seguidas de ciertas preposiciones porque son expresiones que ya van, de acuerdo a las reglas, ya van seguidas por ciertas preposiciones de lugar en este caso. It could be place, prepositions of time, pero en este caso si decimos to spend, que es gastar, I don't spend too much money on food. It could be spend money on food, spend money on rent, on electricity, pero es pagar por algo o gastar en algo. Esa es la expresión. To spend on. Is it any other? Let me see. What about number 11? When you write, you usually write to, right? Esa es otra expresión. When you write to someone. Usted le escribe a alguien, right? You write to someone. What about 12? Don't worry.
About.
It might be about. Don't worry about the exam. It isn't very hard. So when you worry, you usually worry about something. Es otra expresión. What about number 13? Ujú, otra expresión. When you fell in love, you fell in love. No es que usted, nosotros en español decimos enamorarse, pero obviamente en inglés es diferente. They said, they fell in love with someone. Se enamoran de alguien, but they use the preposition in. They fell in love. Number 14, Jose Enrique. Can you try it?
About.
It might be about, you think about something.
You are
Not.
not listening.
Mhm,
What are you thinking about?
mhm. It might be thinking about. Mhm. What about 15? Yvette?
Of.
Karen, okay. What do you think of Shakira? I really like her. She's great. I think she's great. Okay, so now you try it. That was me, but I want you to try it. Let's see if we have everything right. We might not have everything right. Maria Jose, excellent. Let me see. Angie, what happened to Angie? And here, waiting for. Miren, aquí está la expresión. Siempre es como, van seguidas de ciertas preposiciones. So you wait for someone, you speak to someone. Obviamente es difícil, es un poco complejo para nosotros porque son expresiones que usualmente no usamos en la vida diaria. Nosotros no la usamos porque es otro idioma. So it takes time. Al principio hay que como que recordar, ¿no? Y solamente cuando ya usted realmente la usa, then is when you realize why is it like this? Why do they use in or on or at? Puede variar. I need to speak to. You usually speak to someone. Aquí parece que se le fue el tiempo y no pudo hacer la última. Don't worry. José Andrés. José Andrés. You speak to someone. Tal vez ahí fue el error. But everything else is fine. What do you think of Shakira? She's great. You think about something. So this is another practice. And these are prepositions. Yeah, let's see. Mercy. Okay, Mercy is trying again. Everyone is trying again. Yvette, excellent. Very nice. Good. See, you had everything right. Okay. So that was, I think that's the end of the vocabulary section, right? About prepositions. Let me see if I have something else about prepositions. Okay. No, I don't have any other practice about prepositions, but there's one more. There's something else on Unit 2B. So we did grammar and vocabulary, and we're missing the reading section. Okay. We're missing the okay, there's a listening section, but actually there's a reading before. So this is called a picture that costs a fortune. Why do they call this picture that it costs a fortune? What is a fortune? What a fortune means? This word. Let me see. What does fortune mean? Anyone? Karen? Yvette? What is a fortune? Any ideas?
Is similar the look.
Which one?
Look.
Look? Not really. No. A fortune. A fortune means that it,
Maybe
uh-huh.
oh,
It
sorry.
was.
That it cost a lot. Like it was very expensive. Like that.
Very, very expensive. That's a fortune. That it costs a lot of money. I wanted to do the dollar sign, but I'm really bad at drawing. Really bad. I don't know how to draw, but a fortune means that it costs a lot of money. Very, very, very expensive. That's a fortune. So why do they call this picture? Why was it so expensive? Okay, so we have to read, right? So what can you see in the picture? Who's this? Is it a boy or a girl?
Girl. Girl.
Looks like a girl, right?
Girl.
Girl.
It looks like a girl. What is she doing?
Waving a flag.
She's waving a flag, right? So what about the people? What are they doing? Are they singing? Are they talking? Are they dancing?
They are protesting.
They are like yelling, like shouting, like this, right? It's like kind of a
They are
protest, right?
protesting.
They're protesting, right? So what is happening? Why do they call this the picture that costs a fortune? Let me make it bigger. But not too big. Let me see. I wanted to make it bigger so you can read. Let me see. But it went too big. Let me see. Let me see. There it is. Okay. So, any volunteers? Noelia, would you like to start reading? Let me see.
Yeah.
Okay. Why not?
The image that cost a fortune. Caroline, the vendor, was born in 1940. She was the granddaughter of Count Maurice de Vernon. I don't know how to pronounce it, sorry. A rich aristocrat who owned a lot of property in Paris and Monaco. Although he had other grandchildren, the Count decided to leave all his money to Caroline. I never knew why, says Caroline. Perhaps because I was pretty. He paid for her to go to very expensive schools in England, and he hoped that she would marry well. Perhaps a member of a European royal family, but Caroline was a rebel. She went to New York and worked there for a short time as a model. Then in 1968, when she was 28 years old, she returned to Paris.
Okay, so this is the story of who? What is the name of the girl? This is the name of the girl, right? Caroline de Bender. I think she was from, what was she from? Caroline de Bender. I think she was from.
I think she was from Paris.
She was French, right? Let me see. According to this, she was a very rich girl, right? She came from a rich family. She was the granddaughter, so her grandfather was Count Maurice de Venderne, a very rich and wealthy aristocrat who owned a property in Paris and Monaco. I think they were French, right? And so what were the family's expectations? What do they want her to do? According to this, she went to very expensive schools in England. So she was a very well-educated girl. And her family hoped that she would marry very well. What does it mean that someone would marry very well? According to Caroline's story, what do you think? What do they mean by marry someone Well, this is interesting. What do you think? Noelia, I know you know.
Someone who has money, a lot of money, like royalty, for example.
Maybe, right? Since she was rich and she came from a very rich family, her family wanted her to marry a rich guy, right? That's the family's expectations for Caroline. But what happened to her? Was she really was that what she wanted or not? Anita, what do you think? Did she wanted to marry a rich and wealthy guy or not? Not really, right? Why? What did she do?
She was
What is a rebel? Who is a rebel? Danita, Maria Luisa, no? What do they call her a rebel? What did she do, Sonia? Sonia.
She didn't use the money well.
Thank you, Daniela. So what did she do? She went to New York and worked as a model, right? She didn't want to marry a rich boyfriend.
She was a rebel.
They called her a rebel because she went to New York and started working as a model. But then in 1968, she was 28 years old, and she went back to Paris and listened to the rest of her story. Okay, there's an audio. Let me see, let me go back and let me show you this is like her story, but this is just the beginning. If you listen to the audio, they are going to describe what happened later.
1.44. En mai 1968, je suis rentrée à Paris.
In May 1968, I came back to Paris. It was a very exciting time. There were a lot of demonstrations and fighting between students and the police. I wasn't really interested in politics. I wasn't a communist or an anarchist, but I loved the atmosphere. All the students were fighting for freedom, for revolution, and the French police were everywhere. On May the 15th, I was with thousands of other young people. We were walking towards the Place de la Bastille. I was tired, so a friend picked me up, and I sat on his shoulders. Another boy, who was walking next to us, was carrying a Vietnamese flag. It was the time of the Vietnam War. And he said to me, "Hey, could you carry the flag for me?" And I said, "Okay." There was so much happening that I didn't notice all the photographers. The next day, the photo was on the cover of magazines all over the world. When my grandfather saw it, he immediately ordered me to come to his house. He was furious, really, really angry. He said, "That's it, you're a communist. I'm not going to leave you anything, not a penny." I walked out of the room and I never saw him again. 6 months later, he died, and I didn't get any money from him. Nothing.
So what happened to Caroline and her grandfather? She went back to Paris, and what happened? Any ideas, Alexander? No? Charlene? Grace? What happened to the girl? Andresito, Liuba, any ideas? Lisbeth?
She wasted a lot of time.
Excuse me? Can you say it again?
She wasted a lot of time.
Okay. Why?
Because she worked in New York.
Okay. And then? But then she went back to Paris. And what happened to her grandfather?
He died.
He died, right? But what happened before he died? Okay, let's listen one more time.
He didn't left. He didn't left her.
She's become an activist.
So on the
How do you
picture,
say?
yes.
How do you say desheredada?
She did not inherit any money from her grandfather, right?
That's what happened.
That's what happened. But why?
Okay.
Andres, you're saying that she became an activist, right? She was she was protesting, but what happened with the picture? She did not realize that someone had taken a picture, and she was on the picture on the cover of a newspaper. So when her grandfather saw the picture and she recognized her granddaughter, who was a very well-educated and rich girl protesting on the streets of Paris, he was really mad. And what did he say to her?
That she turned into a communist.
You are a communist. I'm not gonna leave you any money, not a penny, it's ni un centavo. He was really mad, and he actually did it. That was the last time, she said, that was the last time I saw my grandfather. And then months later, he died, and he did not leave any money to her, anything. So she was going to inherit a fortune, but because of the picture, that is why the picture is called the image that costs a fortune, because it cost a fortune to Caroline. So she ended without any money, not even 1 penny from her grandfather. So that's what happened. Now, I think they're gonna, let's listen one more time.
1.44.
En mai 1968, je suis rentrée à Paris.
In May 1968, I came back to Paris. It was a very exciting time. There were a lot of demonstrations and fighting between students and the police. I wasn't really interested in politics. I wasn't a communist or an anarchist, but I loved the atmosphere. All the students were fighting for freedom, for revolution, and the French police were everywhere. On May the 15th, I was with thousands of other young people. We were walking towards the Place de la Bastille. I was tired, so a friend picked me up and I sat on his shoulders. Another boy, who was walking next to us, was carrying a Vietnamese flag. It was the time of the Vietnam War. And he said to me, "Hey, could you carry the flag for me?" And I said, "Okay." There was so much happening that I didn't notice all the photographers. The next day, the photo was on the cover of magazines all over the world. When my grandfather saw it, he immediately ordered me to come to his house. He was furious, really, really angry. He said, "That's it, you're a communist. I'm not going to leave you anything, not a penny." I walked out of the room and I never saw him again. 6 months later, he died, and I didn't get any money from him. Nothing.
So she was not a communist, right? She wasn't she was just there. And someone asked her, "Can you carry the flag for me?" And she said, "Okay." She was tired, but she didn't realize that someone had taken a picture. So poor Caroline. Now, there's just questions, and this is going to be our last activity because I know you're really tired. And this is our last activity. So what about this? This is, again, the audio. But according to this, in 1968, what happened? What happened to Caroline? She was a communist, she was an anarchist, but she was not interested in politics.
Anarchist?
Why? What do you know she's an anarchist?
Because in the reading it says that she was a rebel. A rebel is not that is one side on the other, it's like against.
Against everything.
Against everything.
But before she went, before she was part of the, of the protest, she said something. She wasn't really, she didn't have any like political preferences, right? Or did she mention something about politics? Let's listen. You know what? Let's listen.
1.44.
En mai 1968, je suis rentrée à Paris.
In May 1968, there were a lot of demonstrations and fighting between students and the police. I wasn't really interested in politics. I wasn't a communist.
So what did she say? I wasn't. So she didn't care. She was there, maybe in a way she was a rebel because she didn't follow her family expectations, right? But she was not interested in anything related to politics, right? Okay, she said it on the audio. Look.
Fighting between students and the police. I wasn't really interested in politics. I wasn't a communist or an anarchist.
I wasn't a communist or an anarchist. So she wasn't interested in anything related to politics. What about number 2? She loved the atmosphere. She loved the atmosphere because all the students were fighting for what? For peace, for freedom, or for democracy? What do you think? Any ideas? Danita, Mercy, Alexander, Yvette, Maria Jose, Grace. Any ideas?
Freedom.
They were fighting for?
But I loved the atmosphere. All the students were fighting for freedom, for revolution, and the French police were
So they were fighting for?
Freedom.
Freedom, right? Just freedom.
Freedom.
They wanted to be free, maybe free from the system, just against everything. It was the 70s and it was like a lot of protests. So what about number 3? She was sitting on a friend's shoulders so that she could see better, to take pictures, or because she was tired. Let's listen.
everywhere. On May the 15th, I was with thousands of other young people. We were walking towards the Place de la Bastille. I was tired, so a friend picked me up and I sat on his shoulders.
So why she was sitting on someone's shoulders?
She was tired.
She was tired.
Because she was tired, right? She had been walking, maybe we don't know how much or how many, how much time. So she was tired. That's it. Number 4, she was carrying the flag because she was the leader, somebody gave it to her, or she bought it with her. What do you think?
Another boy who was walking next to us was carrying a Vietnamese flag. It was the time of the Vietnam War. And he said to me, "Hey, could you carry the flag for me?" And I said, "Okay." There was so much happening that I didn't notice all the photographers. The next day...
Okay, so what about this? Why she was carrying the flag? Andresito? Jose Enrique, any ideas?
She was a leader in demonstration.
Was she a leader, really? Andres, what do you think?
Somebody gave to her.
Someone just like passed the flag to her. She said,
In the demonstration.
when did she mention that she was a leader? What do you think?
"Hey, could you carry the flag for me?" And I said, "Okay."
Somebody.
Someone said, "Can you carry the flag for me?" And she was
Somebody gave it to her.
So somebody just gave it to her. Le dijeron, agárreme ahí la banderita. And she was like this. But she was not really, in the protest, right? She was just there. And then later, what happened at the very end of her story? Her grandfather died. How much later? Days later, months later, or weeks later?
Month later.
There was so much happening that I didn't notice all the photographers. The next day, the photo was on the cover of magazines all over the world. When my grandfather saw it, he immediately ordered me to come to his...
Oh, my time is about to expire. But what do you think about this? Oh, my time is about to finish. Months later, right? It wasn't days later. It was like months later that her grandfather died. Let me see. It's the end of that's the very last section.
Penny. I walked out of the room and I never saw him again. 6 months later, he died.
So it was 6 months late. Okay, now you try it, please. This is the last practice. Good. Most of you, good. Lisbeth, Anita, okay, Charlene, Mercy. Okay, the boys, Jose Enrique, Andresito, Andres Liuba, Anthony, please. This is where we are, and this is going to be our last practice for today's session. We have managed to work a lot of practice. We have done grammar, vocabulary, reading, speaking, everything, writing. So you must be tired. So this is Unit 2B, and this is the end of Unit 2B. Next week, we're going to keep working on Unit number 2, and then we'll try to start Unit number 3. But this is the last quiz. Look at this. And on the very last, there's one more additional resource, and this is about prepositions again. Es algo que no está en las diapositivas, pero I mean, you will find it in here. And that's it. This is it. Let me see. That's the last quiz. Wait, I'm sorry. Go results. Let me see if we are done. Excellent. Most of you are done. Okay, so just to summarize, what did we do today? What have we learned today? Just to close. We talk about what? Noelia, Yvette, Sonia, Lisbeth, Charlene, what did we do today? Any ideas? Someone? Angie?
Past continuous.
We talk about past continuous. What else? When we said on November at 12.
Simple past.
Simple past. Okay, thank you, Alexander. Simple past, past continuous, prepositions. Anything else? Lisbeth, yes. Andres, Charlene, Sabrina.
Add on in.
Okay, prepositions. Thank you. Good. I'm not going to ask you to do past continuous. Excellent. I'm not going to ask you to record any other videos now, but just a little friendly reminder about the videos that you should have already uploaded in Flipgrid. My perfect holiday, I only have 8 responses. Solamente 8 personas lo han entregado. Just a friendly reminder. Tal vez si hay, yo sé que tengo alumnos que no estuvieron desde la clase número 1, but class number 1, I asked you to introduce yourself through a video, okay? And here I have how many students? 16. So la mayoría sí lo ha hecho. But video number 2, I only have 8, okay? I'm not going to ask you to do any other videos today, but next week I will definitely ask you to record another video. And let me see, there's something else that I wanted to check with you now that you're here. Yes. Yes.
Una pregunta, ¿dónde puedo ver las notas de los videos?
Las notas no están en los videos. Generalmente yo las notas de los videos las voy recabando en un formato en el que yo voy a llevar todas las notas. Si usted desea saber su nota, yo se la puedo dejar saber, pero generalmente no lo hago en la sesión compartiendo a todas las personas, ¿no? Es algo como más confidencial. Si usted desea saber su nota, me puede contactar and I can share that with you.
Teacher, no se olvide, yo le mandé unos mensajes y usted dijo que me iba a dar viendo, pero no creo que se olvidó. Por favor.
Yvette, si no la molesto mucho, envíeme otro mensaje. Porque yo sí So, I might forget. So, yes.
Va a poner a tomar lista otra vez.
Anthony, usualmente lo hago al final. Usualmente al final yo tomo una foto, incluso. Hago una captura de pantalla. No lo he hecho todavía. Lo tengo que hacer. Es muy importante recordarles que para que usted tenga la asistencia, usted tiene que estar en cámara. No puedo ponerle la asistencia a alguien que no he visto. Yo entiendo que algunas clases no he estado, entonces de aquí en adelante no puede perder ninguna clase, porque tenemos también...
No, exacto. Yo he estado aquí, todo, no que estaba en el teléfono.
Ajá, entonces, claro, yo entiendo. La recomendación es que sí del celular no es tan aconsejable porque pues la interacción es bastante limitada. Y también, por ejemplo, si tenemos que hacer actividades en las que tiene que escribir o tiene que hacer algo, es difícil. Hay
Sí, última vez.
Sí, es una recomendación, un consejo sano, porque no va a poder hacer muchas cosas, ¿no? Entonces realmente, los resultados, pues no, y usted mismo va a decir, ay, pero no pudo hacer nada, ella explicaba, pero yo solamente la oía y no me veía. Entonces ya para la próxima, ya usted sabe que lo ideal es ya sea de una PC, una laptop, lo que usted tenga, pero el celular sí no lo recomiendo. Ajá. Esta vez yo sé, ¿no?